And back here live on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, Phil Costa is our special guest for the full hour with Adam. The name of the book, The Transition Playbook for Athletes, How Elite Athletes Win After Sports. Adam?
So we were talking about this being the transition playbook for athletes. Tell me how it transitions or how it works for other life transitions.
So there's certain principles that, there's a lot of crossover. And let's just talk to self-identity. When you're done playing sports, you're not the athlete anymore. Well, if you worked as a lawyer for 30 years and you retire, you're not the lawyer anymore. You have to be something new. And to be able to really deal with that and understand how you find the next thing, how you find your next passion, we hope readers take that away from this book and can help them find that.
One of the things I find exciting about this topic is, and I kind of thought that you would go that direction, and I was hoping you would, but I think that this is really relatable for any transition in your life. You look at kids going into the next level of school. They're changing from middle school to high school. It's a transition, right? So you have certain things that you have to keep in mind from your successes that you had in middle school and take away some of that fear that you may have going into the bigger school and going to the next level, going from college to graduate school, looking for a career. Is that all things that, the lessons can be taken from your book on that as well?
So, it's funny as we're going along with, the book's not even out yet. It'll be out about a week and a half, but it's been about a 3-year process. And we focused it on, it's college, pro, and Olympic. But what we're finding is that people who are going through other life transitions, and people who are going through retirement, and a lot of parents say to me, for my junior and senior in high school, we think this is very applicable, and they read the book, and that's what they're telling me. So I'm like, that's awesome. I'm glad it's expanding just the college, pro, and Olympic athletes.
So if you had to pick your 3 biggest takeaways from the book, what would they be?
Prepare. And the earlier you prepare, the more successful you're going to be. And athletes from all over share that story, and they share examples of how they did it, how they wish they might have done it a little better. We have some Philly athletes in this book. We have the Flyers, Bill Clement, Eagles, Chad Lewis, Eagles, Jamal Jackson, and they share some of the best advice in the book. These athletes who, were successful athletes, and now not always through a very, straight, narrow road. It's been ups and downs, but they found success now.
One of the things that I want to get the listeners and readers of your book excited about is we look at these athletes when they're on television, when they're in prime time, and when they leave, part of their difficulty in transitioning is, there's this huge fall off of public presence. And I think that's something that a lot of athletes have difficulty with, but it's something for the listener to be mindful of because, as difficult as it was for them to make it to a high level, it's probably even more difficult for them to transition out of that professional career. Is that right?
Well, I'll share my story with that, and it is funny because it happened in South Jersey. So, when I first started working in medical device sales, I would have to make sales calls to doctors' offices. And I go into the doctor's office, I'm wearing my suit, look professional, and I say, is Dr. So-and-so here? And at that moment, the doctor comes out and, standing behind the secretary, and the doctor doesn't even say a word, just waves his hand and go away pretty much. So I learned that, I better make better sales calls, that's number one. But I learned that things have changed, where 18 months prior, Adam, I'm sitting there signing autographs, getting paid a lot of money to sign autographs, and people are waiting in line to see me. And now I walk into this doctor's office, and it was very humbling. So I got to see that firsthand.
Do you think that had anything at all to do with the fact that you were a cowboy in Eagles territory?
It might have been. I think he had like a cowboy or Eagles towel, hanging out of the back of his medical coat. So maybe.
We have signs around the office here and around the studio that have photos of Cowboys and former Cowboys players. They get completely different treatment. Were you offered coffee when you came in?
You know what's funny is I wasn't actually.
There's a reason for that. Yeah, there's a reason for that. You're a Cowboy.
Right.
We're going to still work on converting you back. Get you back to the good guys. So if you had to choose one lesson that stood out above the rest from the book and something that you wanted to pass on to the audience without giving too much more away from the book, I feel like we're getting deep into your book. What's that lesson?
You know, and this is something that's maybe a little more specific for athletes, is as an athlete, when you go to these events, and I was talking to Eagles player last week, and, you know, he asked me the same question. He says, what's one thing from the book? And as I handed him one, and I said, it's this, man. When you go to these events and you're the celebrity athlete of these events, don't go there as a celebrity athlete. Go there as a guy who needs a job, who wants to network, who wants to connect and meet with people. And that'll bear so much fruit. Where we have an Olympian, Summer Sanders, you probably know the name in the book, and she says the same thing. She says, show up there not as a celebrity athlete and let other people be part of your process. And, whatever that is for the current athlete, whatever that means, let them be a part of your process while you're playing. Because after sports, I guarantee they're going to pick up your phone call.
Now, I know you personally, and I know that you're a networker. You're a guy who literally travels the world and finds people, embraces them, speaks to them, speaks with them. It's not that easy for everybody, right?
Well, here's the thing, and here's a light bulb moment. If you met me 5 years ago, Adam, I don't know if you'd be saying the same thing, honestly. Is the light bulb moment I had after sports was when you're an athlete, everything's come to you. Your agents come to you, the business opportunities, everything's incoming calls. After sports, they have to be outgoing. People will still take the athlete's call. They're happy to take your call, but you have to pick up the phone and make it. And that's where athletes really, really struggle because, in college and especially in the pros, a lot of things have been done for us where the light bulb moment in an athlete who does do that is so far ahead of the game. It's incredible.
You and I have talked about the humility that you've gained and your sense of giving back. Talk to me a little bit about your charitable commitments.
So with this book, we had 100 of these athletes who they gave their time and advice to help other athletes. So we want to do the same thing. All pre-sale proceeds from this book will be donated to the Athlete Foundation. And what they do is they support 10,000 student athletes across the country, and it's going towards youth sports. So the money's going towards a great cause. They have unbelievable people running that organization, and we're glad to be able to help them out and be a part of that.
And that's Athlife, ATHLIFE,
yes,
correct?
Sir. Athlife Foundation.
So where can the listeners buy your book?
So right now, Amazon, Barnes & Nobles for your local listeners. June 1st, we're going to be at Barnes & Nobles right down the road here. You can throw a rock to it in Cherry Hill on Haddonfield Road from 12 to 2. And we're going to be there, signing books, and would love for people to come out and meet them. But from there, it's, they can go on our website, thetransitionplaybook.com, or follow us on Instagram. We're doing some cool posts on IG at the Transition Playbook.
So during one of our future podcasts, we're going to go live, and we're working out the dates for a live appearance at Chickies and Pete's in Marlton.
Awesome.
So if you guys are available, I'd love to have you come out. We should have a good audience, and you being a South Jersey guy, Cowboys fan, you guys being from South Jersey, it gives us an opportunity to hopefully get some folks interested in your book and talking about your book there as well.
Well, here's the thing. I'm sure you see it in South Jersey. There's Cowboy fans everywhere. And I guarantee Chickies and Pete's, even if we came out or didn't, there's still going to be Cowboys fans. They're everywhere. They're America's team for a reason, All
right, listen, this whole America's team stuff. So I don't know if I had shared this with you, but, we have an office fantasy football league.
Yeah.
And my team's name is Nomo Romo.
Romo.
So you know where I stand on this. But listen, I want to thank you. I want to wrap things up. I want to thank you very much. It's been a great show. I'm super excited. I can tell you I'll be digging into the book tonight, and I'll probably be texting you tomorrow about it.
Please do.
But thank you. Thank you for coming out, and I wish you nothing but the best of success.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
All right, good stuff from Adam Malamut and our special guest today, Phil Costa, who joined Adam here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. The Adam Malamut Show, real people, real perspectives, real opinion. And following today's show, we add real conversation. That's going to do it for this week's edition of the Adam Malamut Show. On behalf of our guest, Phil Costa, thank you very much, Phil. And, of course, our gracious host, Adam Malamut. I'm Joe Krause. See you next time, everybody.
This program is a paid commercial announcement and in no way represents the views of WPHT or its management.